Season 5, Volume 2 doesn't feel like a continuation. It feels like a warning. This isn't just about monsters anymore. This is about endings, permanent ones. And with Netflix confirming this as the final volume, the story isn't asking what happens next. It's asking who survives what's coming. Hey, Stranger Things family, welcome back.
We failed. We never stood a chance.
The final tone shift. The Duffers have been very clear about one thing. Volume 2 changes everything. This is where the horror fully takes over. Not jump scare horror, not monster of the week horror, but slow, suffocating dread. The kind where characters realize the rules they've relied on for 5 seasons no longer apply. Where hope becomes fragile, where survival comes at a cost. And that shift begins immediately with Episode 5. Episode 5, The Shock Jock. Directed by Frank Darabont. And that name alone tells you everything. Darabont doesn't just scare you, he traps you. When Ross Duffer said this episode flexes very different muscles, that's code for psychological terror. The kind where the danger isn't just Vecna, it's understanding the truth. And that truth likely explodes out of Hawkins' lab. That massive white energy wave isn't just an explosion. It's a reveal. Reality peeling back like wallpaper. The upside down isn't opening, it's being stripped away. And what's underneath is something far older. Something we were never meant to see. Dimension X, the real hell. Fans call it the hellscape, Dimension X. Not a mirror world, not a copy, but the foundation. If the Upside Down is a frozen snapshot layered over our reality, then Dimension X is the source code underneath both, the place Henry connected to, the place where Vecna's power truly comes from. This explains the warped walls, the melted equipment, the distorted physics inside Hawkins' lab. The illusion is burning away. And once that layer is gone, there's no putting the world back the way it was. Episode 6, Escape from Camazotz. This is the emotional breaking point. Sean Levy called this the biggest episode of the volume, and that says a lot. Because Levy episodes don't just go big, they hurt. This is where characters are trapped between collapsing realities, where sacrifices aren't optional, where someone steps forward who was never supposed to matter. Holly Wheeler. Holly the heroic was never a throwaway line. If Holly can cast doors, not rifts, not tunnels, doors, then she represents something Vecna can't control. Her power isn't mind-based. It isn't psychic warfare. It's access, movement, escape. And that makes her dangerous to him.
Hi.
Max, 11, and the reunion. Episode 6 also feels like the rescue. Max has been trapped too long. And if you've been paying attention, the pieces finally line up. That image of 11 reaching out with her powers? It makes sense now. What if she's reaching for Max? A reunion inside Vecna's mindscape wouldn't just be emotional, it would be strategic. Because Max isn't alone in there anymore. Holly might be with her. And that changes everything. Because Holly doesn't just see the other side, she might connect it. The mirror theory. There's an image of Max and Holly staring into a circular portal. And that shape? It perfectly matches the mirror in Holly's bedroom. That's not random. It suggests Holly can see through worlds, maybe even send information back, maybe even guide someone out. If Max realizes this, if she understands Holly is the bridge, then escaping Vecna's mindscape becomes possible. Not guaranteed, but possible. Episode 7, The Bridge. Ross Duffer called this one of the most emotional episodes of the entire season, second only to the finale. That tells us everything. This episode sits in the aftermath, the cost, the loss, the realization that someone didn't make it. The Duffers promised no mass slaughter, but they never promised no death. One loss is enough to shatter everyone. And yes, a sacrifice is coming. Steve, Robin, someone unexpected. Not because they failed, but because this war demands payment. Will Byers, the key. The final seconds of Volume 1 weren't about Vecna. They were about Will. When Will used Vecna's power, that changed the game. He's not just a receiver. He's not just an antenna. He can influence the upside down. He can shape it. Which means the next phase isn't finding Vecna. That's done. Now the question becomes, how do you kill something that wrote the rules? And the answer may lie with the one person who understands those rules instinctively. 11. Dr. K and the military. Deep in Hawkins' lab, 11 doesn't even know what's happened yet. She doesn't know Vecna revealed himself. She doesn't know Will used powers. And Dr. K? She knows now. Vecna is real, and military weapons mean nothing to him. So even if she stops blaming 11, that doesn't mean she stops using her. 11 isn't the problem anymore. She's the weapon. The WSQ spoiler. One of the biggest leaks confirms Dr. K and the military stormed WSQ radio. Directed by Darabont, Episode 5. Behind-the-scenes photos show Dr. K, her Wolfpack unit, in active combat at the station. This is where everything collides. The kids, the military, the truth. And once WSQ falls, there's nowhere left to hide. The end is coming. Volume 2 isn't about winning. It's about surviving what's revealed. Dimension X, Holly's power, Will's connection, 11 being forced back into the fight. Everything points toward one final truth. The upside down was never the enemy. It was the warning. And now, the real world is next. So let me ask you, who do you think doesn't make it out alive? And what do you believe Dimension X truly is? Drop your theories in the comments. And if you're still here, you're part of this journey. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the final breakdown. Because Stranger Things is ending, and nothing will ever be the same again.